Okay, let's see how many early birds we have with us today. I'm out here pre-sunrise. Look at this. Oh, I've got early appointments starting today, so every day is a new day. So peaceful and beautiful. The lake is like glass. It's so beautiful. Look at this. And there's some ducks out there just sitting peacefully. And off in the distance, I see some, the mist coming off the water. It's chilly. It's chilly here in the bluegrass today. We're down in the 30s. So, 2 Corinthians chapter 10. We're going to finish it up this weekend. Well, as of the day of this recording, it's a Friday morning in October. Mid-October already. Like, how did that happen? Almost done with the Bible. Whoa! A little over 60 days left, like something like 70 or 75, something like that. Anyway, exciting stuff. And 2 Corinthians, get with it, Felicia. Love, I've titled today, Love Speaks for Itself. Now, in my translation of the Bible, this Paul defends his authority is the title of this little section of the letter. And he's basically saying, I don't really need to defend myself because Christ, love, speaks for itself. And if you're in Christ and I say I'm in Christ and we both believe what we're saying and we really are, then there's no argument. There's no problem because it's obvious. That's what love does. And it can agree to disagree. But it's love is the foundation. And evidently there are a few people that are in the church and maybe finding an opportunity to rise to a position of power and authority and are a little bit prideful. And Paul comes in and says, look, God's ways are not our ways. Again, that reminder. Like God wages war, not like humans do. It destroys every proud obstacle. And yes, because you can't have true love, God's agape love, and also hold on to pride. It just, oil and water, they don't mix. So if you're falling into the traps of human authority, human love, human pridefulness, all of those things, then you're not preaching and teaching and living the message of Christ, love, all AKA love. And if it's interesting, if you start substituting the word for love, God or Christ with love, you'll see it a little bit more clearly. Love doesn't have to defend itself. It just is. And it changes the way we relate to each other, to authority, to groups. It wins by not trying to win, if you will. When people get it, they get it. Again, that message of grace that you don't have to do anything to earn it. You don't deserve it, like all of those things, like you just let go. And then you can let go of that with other people too. But if you're still in the proving, defending, my way or the highway way of looking at the world and trying to be good, trying to be some of so if you're really in love, there is a natural fruit that comes from love. We see the fruit of that, and then we try to bear the fruit the wrong way, and it doesn't work. We try to, it's like, even if I'm going to bear with me as I try to articulate this, and because it's in my head, and see if I can articulate it. Because I'm looking at all these trees around me. So I'm looking at a tree. Let's say it's an apple tree. And the tree is just doing its tree thing. It's an apple tree. So if it's being nourished properly and it's growing and it's being tended and cared for and the conditions are right, then it will bear ripe, juicy apples. And that is like me going along and saying, boy, I'd really want some nice juicy apples. I want to just try to be an apple. I want to be an apple. So if the tree is love and the natural fruit of love is apples, that maybe represent, patience, kindness, humility, all the things that we've learned about what love is, the natural fruit of true love. But we're like, we try to reverse engineer it. We try to be the fruit so that we can become the tree. It's not the way it works. You've got to become the tree to bear the fruit. But we want to focus on the characteristics. I was here my whole adult life. I didn't get the message. I was hearing it, but I didn't get it. And so I was trying to be so good. I was focusing on a couple of aspects of the fruit of what love produces. And therefore, I was blocking myself from becoming the tree that bared the fruit, love. I was, as a matter of fact, kind of doing the opposite. We become deceived by a false version of what love looks like, which is that clingy, proving, earning. If I do these things, and if I serve, and if I treat this person that way, then I can think of myself as good. This is what good people do. I was trying to reverse engineer it. I think a lot of us are doing that. And when you finally really open your heart and your hands and your life to grace, and you really receive it, it's like, oh, okay, this is the way. This is what Jesus was talking about. This is why he was able to stand in the face of being mocked and ridiculed and going to eat with all the worthy, maybe, of the day, and show them a new way, meet them where they are. And because the unworthy, who also even saw themselves maybe that way, they are actually the poor in spirit who know that they're poor in spirit. Ironically, because again, God's ways are not our ways, are the ones who are actually more able to receive the good news. Because for them, it's like, this is fantastic. But those of us that are really trying to reverse engineer our way into love, we're blocking it just by our very efforts. The thing is, we don't have to try. We're focusing on the wrong thing. And I was like, and that is freedom and liberation. That is salvation. And this is the message Paul is coming in and trying to say. Look, love speaks for itself. And if you want to believe the false message that sounds good, the human messages, you're being deceived too. It's good stuff, you guys. Okay, it is a gorgeous, look at that. Oh my gosh. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Fall is in full bloom here. It's interesting. This is not going to be, this is a little bonus add-on thoughts from Felicia. As I was thinking about the life cycle of the trees, and as they, before they shed their leaves, they change these vibrant colors that just light up the world. And I've been thinking a lot about, now that I'm in the sort of the second half of life and I'm in my 50th year, and I look at those I have so many mentors that are in their 60s, 70s, 80s, and the attitude that we have towards this time of life is like, okay, it's time to just sit and just do a nice hobby and sit here and just look cute. I'm not useful anymore. And I'm like, oh my gosh, we're missing out on this brilliance in our society here in America because of our attitude towards that season of life. We're putting them away and going and kind of already saying, "Help, your leaves have already fallen. You're done." And we should be experiencing this. We should all be able to bask in their glory and the process that they've gone through to get, all of that passed on to us. We should be able to go, wow, oh yeah, and learn. So anyway, if you're in that season of life, rise up and contribute. We need you. Don't sit and say, oh, it's done. It's my time to just sit and rest and relax and just wait for death's door. You're alive. You're fully alive until you're not. And so many people just go into death's waiting room. And those of us that are younger, if you look at people of a certain age and think that, you're missing out on brilliance and the full spectrum of wisdom being poured into you. That's a prideful thought, because one day that's going to be you and me and God, and we can all learn so much from each other at all the ages. And for those of us that are older, don't shut yourself off to the wisdom of youth either. It all is a beautiful tapestry where we can really be inspired by youth's energy and vigor and ideas and visions. And those of us that have lived longer and have more experience can balance that out. And anyway, that's what some of my additional thoughts I'm pondering as I'm looking at this beautiful fall foliage. All right. Have a great day. Rise and shine. See you tomorrow. We talked about 2 Corinthians chapter 10 today.